Moynak, a former fishing town in the middle of the desert. No river around, no lake, no sea. How did it come to this? I promised you in the last episode that I will come back here to the ship cemetery in Moynak. I've checked the place a bit last evening, but you could not really see much because it was rather late already. So here I am again. Let's check the ship cemetery out once more, now that we can actually see it in the daylight. I also want to take some photographs. It's gonna be interesting. I've probably already covered some of this in the last video, but here's a short version of what has actually happened. Aral Sea used to be the fourth largest lake in the world, after the Caspian Sea, Lake Superior and Lake Victoria. Until the 1960s, it's safe to say Aral Sea was like this huge oasis in the desert, and Moynak was a thriving fishing town. But the Soviet Union had another plan. There were two important rivers feeding the Aral Sea, Amu Darya and Sir Darya. The Soviets thought it would be a good idea to divert these two rivers, because who needs the Aral Sea anyway, right? It's more important to make money from the cotton industry. The rivers kept irrigating the cotton fields instead of the lake, and by 1988, Uzbekistan was the world's largest cotton exporter. But the obvious downside was that the Aral Sea began to shrink. Years passed, and Moynak was no longer next to the lake it once depended on. That didn't initially stop the fishermen. They left their boats by the shores of the lake and made the journey back to Moynak every day, walking or driving a few kilometers. But the lake was getting farther and farther away from the town. In the 90s, the Aral Sea was only half of what it used to be back then in the 60s. By 2010, the lake had shrunk to less than 10% of its original size. Not only was the lake too far away from the former fishing town, but the salinity increased a lot and the fish started to die. The mineral content started rising and the volumes of pesticides became more concentrated as well. Needless to say, a lot of people in the area started having serious health issues because of the toxic dust storms. An entire ecosystem collapsed. The Aral Sea is unfortunately one of the biggest man-made environmental disasters of all time. There are current efforts to recreate the Aral Sea. In theory, it should be possible, but will it happen? Very windy. It's very windy today. Yeah, I guess it's very normal in the desert. Here's another one, separated from the rest. Look, the others there, close to that hill. And here we have, oh, it's a dirty word there. desert is rather beautiful too, huh? Walking through the desert where Aral Sea used to be. It's definitely not something you do every day. Absolutely no. Look, 360 degrees. Not a local, not a tourist. That's pretty crazy, right? I mean, maybe not so crazy. It's a desert in the end. Yesterday in the evening, there were quite a lot of people. I was thinking it's rather weird as well, but well, it was my first time here, so I didn't know. So maybe it's a tourist attraction among the locals too. Could have been, but it was a wedding, and all the kids and some of the guests wanted to check the ships down here. Interesting choice for a wedding, I have to say. I think I saw a cow. Again, that's not something you see every day in the desert. Oh, that's a big one. Okay, it started raining. I think that was it. That was it for Aral Sea Ship Cemetery. That's a very interesting place. It's really sad that this happened. I mean, there is hope, even though not much. But to be fair, when I was a kid and I heard that Aral Sea is shrinking, I don't know, I didn't read anything more about it. And I just thought it's a proof of global warming, because, oh, look, the temperatures are rising and Aral Sea is shrinking, the world is, gonna die soon and stuff like that. But then later on I read that it has nothing to do with global warming, but humans, we are the problem. Basically the most important rivers that fed Aral Sea with the water from the mountains, melted snow, especially Amu Darya, were diverted for irrigations to irrigate the cotton fields. And yeah, it was a very interesting experience coming here. It's a pretty long way a very bumpy road, but I had a good time, had an interesting time here. Well, of course you enjoy traveling, that's why you do it, but at the same time it's just sad traveling, you know. It's kind of like last year when I've been to Chernobyl. Yeah, it was a long time dream. I wanted to do it, but you know, it's not a place where you can jump around and be like, yay, I'm traveling, you know. Let's just say it's a different kind of travel. I'm getting lost in the desert. There are current efforts to recreate the Aral Sea. In theory, it should be possible, but will it happen? How long will it take? I can only say that I would love to come back here in a few years or even decades and see Moynock thriving again as a fishing town and bathe in the Aral Sea. Would be an amazing thing. Hopefully it's gonna happen. I was just about to leave, but then I saw that the Aral Sea Museum is finally open. So let's go check it out a little bit. It's a rather small museum, so it should not take long. A lot of paintings here from the golden years of the Aral Sea. You can see here so much water, a lot of fish. Oh, this winter painting. Love that. These fish cans over here. So nostalgic in a way. I've never lived here, but still I can imagine having these at every store around. Probably they had these everywhere in the Soviet Union. Maybe even exported them. I don't know. At the end of the tour, they put on a movie, just for me actually. There were no other tourists. More like a short documentary about the Aral Sea. Pretty interesting. Basically, most of the information that you heard throughout the video. But yeah, probably better made. It was interesting. Alright, that was it from Moynock. That was it from the former Aral Sea. Hopefully we'll be back here in the future. I wouldn't be so optimistic about the Aral Sea getting back to its original size, but yeah, who knows. And I'll see you in the next video. Probably still here in Karakalpakstan, exploring more. I leave you with a couple of photographs that I took these days at the ship cemetery. And yeah, like I said, see you in the next one.